so sad about it.
Hey, everybody, it's the coach. This is the NFL.
All right, Coach, coverage of the National Football League on EA Sports brings us to Southern California and Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson. Today, we're set for a good AFC matchup between the Houston Texans and our home team. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line.
Come on, baby. Let's go! The Chargers take over first and 10 at their own 19-yard line.
Sit 180, 390.
They'll run. This is Melvin Gordon. He's got a first down and more past the 30. And finally marked down at the 42-yard line. 39 yards there, a big one. Opening quarter, his opening carry of the game, and I think they'll give it to him a few more times, as they should.
You're exactly right about that, but that type of a run, you want to repeat it many times until they show signs of stopping it. I think he did his visualization exercising before this one, and they're paying off.
And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. A well-executed 22-yard gain. Opening minute and already a trip to the red zone. First and 10 right at the 20. And he'll just get back to the line of scrimmage, if that. And with a flag on the field. And that one looks to be in the area where someone was held. They'll wind up losing a full 10 yards on the play. So following the hold, they're in a bit of a hole here with a first and 20. From the gun, Rivers. Now a hit, and Rivers lost the football. And the Texans scoop it. And he'll return this ball across midfield to the 47-yard line. He let one slip away last week as well, so now 2 fumbles lost in as many weeks.
Well, we were out at practice, and we watched him work. And what did his quarterback coach talk about all week?
Being a two-hand monster.
And we looked at each other. Two-hand. Oh, I get it. Two-hand monster. Both hands on the football. taking care of it, putting it away so the ball doesn't get dropped.
And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. Following the fumble recovery, Watson dancing to his left. And he is going to be run down. What a disaster there. A huge loss. Melvin Ingram able to record his 5th sack of the season. After the sack, they're staring at a challenge basically from the other side of town. It's 2nd and a country mile.
Check 15, check 50.
Back to throw, Watson. Steps away to his left. He'll run it. 6 yards there off the scramble, but it'll still leave him with a 3rd down.
Okay, he's not going to get the first down, but this is still a nice job of buying some time and then running to get to the sideline and get out of bounds and avoid the big hit.
Mike, 44. Switch up. Rush in. 25, check 25.
3rd and long. It's Watson escaping the pressure right. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go. Able to find a seam for 14 yards, but still now facing a 4th down after the scramble.
And they had an extra defensive back on the field on that play, and the coverage was excellent. He tried to pull it down and run for it, but they rallied to him and kept him short of a first down.
Tighten up. 24.
They are going for it. Here's Watson, buying time to his left. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go. A surprising move to go for it. Predictably, at least somewhat predictably, it doesn't pay off. And that will force a turnover on downs. Well, that, my friend, I guess is the definition of a head-scratcher. 4th and long, this stage of the game. What were they doing?
I just have to believe that he looked at the situation, still in the first half, decide if there's a time to be aggressive, now was it, because there's still time to make up for it if things don't go right. Of course, a lot of questions on this one, and look, I want to go for it as much as anyone.
But 4th and long?
Yeah, I don't think I would have there. That one seemed a little bit on the irrational side.
Fans might be a little angry at that one. No gain on the play, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Black 15! Black 52! Black 52! 52's the mark!
On 3rd down, Rivers. Oh, he may have gotten lucky. Tried to dump it off underneath on the check down. Nearly picked. Instead, it's incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
The field position game, such an overlooked facet, Charles, of an NFL game. But this offense, they're going to be pinned back. What an ideal punt.
An ideal punt, and it leads to that term complementary football. Because them doing that puts their defense in a great spot, doesn't it? Gives them a chance. If they want to be aggressive, try and maybe get a safety out of this whole thing, it puts them in that position.
Watson on 1st down. Sliding out of the pocket. He'll try and run it. It's complete to Hopkins. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Offense.
So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. Only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Now a carry for Lindsey. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and it'll be a 3rd and about 13. On 3rd down, here's Lindsey. And he'll take this one up to about the 6-yard line. It's a gain of 5, but it'll lead to a 4th down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Here's Brian Anger now. And no room for error here as his first punt comes from deep in his own end zone. And the punt goes out of bounds. Where will they put it? They'll put it just inside the 45-yard line. And the Chargers coming out on the field now. And things haven't started so well for this side. 2 drives, 2 punts.
So now you've got to start looking not just at play calling, but which guy's going to step forward and say, okay, let's get this thing done. Because within that unit of 11, sometimes one guy can make a big-time play and break through the barrier.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. That one good for 13 and a Charger first. Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. And he'll be brought down, it looks like right at the 40. 7 yards to pick up on the pitch and catch.
Second and 3 at the Texans' 40-yard.
On second down, Eckler. And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain that time as it's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 3 to go. Play fake to Gordon. Now Rivers. Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. Jayon Brown in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him.
And that's their first sack of this game, but how about last week? 6 sacks, great coverage downfield, which helped that pass rush. They are really working in sync right now.
And now out comes Houston. And this is their 3rd drive. Right now, maybe not about points, just about getting something. They haven't gotten a first down yet in this game.
It's a mental barrier you don't think about until you go a couple of drives without getting a first down. Then all of a sudden it looms big. It gets harder and harder to actually attain that first down.
Well, this is taken in. It's complete. 39 yards there. A big one.
Here we go.
In our pregame meeting, all they talked about was keeping him hemmed in and wanting him to make his throws from the pocket because they knew he was pretty dangerous if he got outside, and he just showed it right there. Pretty good.
And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. Joey Bosa, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year. And the job becomes twice as difficult now. After the sack, it's 2nd and 20. Here's Watson. Flush to his right. Oh, and this ball's tipped and intercepted. Picked off at the 23. And he will be brought down, but he's got the interception on the final play of this first quarter. We're scoreless after 1. The Charger drive about to get going. We've seen both of these offenses still sort of in that figuring things out phase, but I suspect some action on the scoreboard soon as they start out here 1st and 10. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 23 yards on the pickup there and a first.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral, also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Here's a run on first down that doesn't accomplish anything. In fact, he's going to be tackled behind the line for a loss of 1. It'll be a loss of 1, and it'll be 2nd and 11. On second down. It's Gordon, and forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and that'll force upon him a 3rd and 14. Now Rivers. Pressure, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back right around the 44. Zach Cunningham make that now 8 sacks for him on the season.
You've called plenty of games in your career. Do you believe in momentum, my man?
I do, and I think we're seeing it right here.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. The run that he's been on. How about that? 3 sacks in a game a week ago, and another one right here. Oh, he's feeling it in a big way.
12 yards on the return that time, and the Texans are going to have the football with a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. They're still in search of an initial first down as they come up here 1st and 10. The drive will commence with a run by Lindsey. And finally out of bounds inside the 5 at the 4. A big-time play there for the Texans. 84 yards. So down inside the 5-yard line. I have to say, really just a poor job defensively there.
You're exactly right. As a former defensive back, that was not played well at all. But give credit to the offense and give credit to the guy running the football. He gets it down all the way inside the 5.
They'll run with Lindsey. Only a yard that time, 2nd and goal.
That run didn't get very far, and I think when you're looking at his dimensions, he's a little bit on the smaller side. He's counting on the big guys up front to escort him in, and they couldn't create any kind of space for him, could they?
Yeah, didn't get the push they needed. And he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston. Kiki QT, his 2nd touchdown on the season, as his guys are first onto the scoreboard here this afternoon. Extra point by Fairbairn, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Phillip Rivers now gears up to take the offense back out there. I think this crowd not really sure what to make of things. Their guys have not looked very good. Their leader here at the top, he hasn't looked that great either.
And most of the time you hear guys talk about how they don't look.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Jayon Brown has now recorded 10 sacks on the season. They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. Now running the jet sweep with Benjamin, and that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
And out of bounds across the 15-yard line. Call it a 3-yard gain, and that's going to make it 4th down.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
Fielded at the 33. We'll call that a 47-yard punt, a return of just 3. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. DeAndre Hopkins and the rest of the offense heading back onto the field. 2nd quarter, a guy like him, no catches, so that's the surprising part, but they're winning, so maybe they've been able to do some other things effectively, I guess.
And they found other ways, haven't they? Because the receivers will tell you, offense needs to run through us, but they're managing to get it done in this ball game without having to actually do that. I wouldn't expect them to stay silent for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you got to think that his first catch is coming at some point. They'll run here with Lindsey. And he is brought down, but not before reaching the 30. That's good for 21 yards and a 1st down. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on 1st down. On 1st and 10, it's Lindsey. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays. They still need about the length of the football here, maybe a little less as they come up on 2nd and inches. To throw is Watson. It's complete to Fuller. His first catch, good for 16 and a 1st.
And a lot of people ask the same question all the time. Why do we see so many slants in the red zone? Well, the windows are tighter. Everything's more condensed. It has to be quicker, and you've got to deliver the ball on time. Your biggest worry? Ball gets tipped in the air. Because if that happens, then it's fair game for the defense.
From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. They'll try to run with Lindsey.
His path became similar to almost running a stretch play, didn't it? Trying to find a crease, anywhere to put his foot in the ground and cut back. It just never materialized.
This Charger defense continuing to hold the line. Now it's a 3rd and goal situation. And after all that, he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. A field goal would make it a 2-score game, but they're going to go aggressive. They're going to try this thing on 4th and goal. And he is not going to be able to get away as they swarm him for a loss shy of the goal line. 2nd quarter action with 1:59 remaining. And we remind you, coming up at the half, we'll join who, Charles?
The coach.
The coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from games in progress, as well as scores from earlier today.
The coach.
Right, we get slap happy up here sometimes. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Rivers going to turn and give this one to his running back, Gordon. And he will forge his way forward only up to the 2-yard line. The second down play, not much better than the first, just a gain of 1 there. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th. And he will try, but he can't. He can't escape the end zone. Gordon is taken down, and it's a safety. And you know, the man who sat in my chair the last few years, he has a theory. These plays, these safeties, they're so rare. Maybe they should be worth more than 2, maybe 4 points.
I think he's got a great point. I really do, Brandon. But I would go ahead and up it to 6. I'm a former defender. To me, that's like scoring a touchdown.
Easy now. I'll go 4. I don't know about 6.
Come on. Come up to 6.
A lot of points. Getting set to go again, DeAndre Hopkins marches back onto the field. He's been pretty quiet here in the second quarter. They've got the lead. That's the good news. But you think they get him more involved going forward?
I think that they do, and that's what they always want to do because he's such a priority and he's such a big-time playmaker. But sometimes defenses take that away, and they've been able to find another way to get it done themselves.
Yeah, they absolutely have. They're winning. And look at the scoreboard right now. So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. Throwing again is Watson. Flushed out right. On the run, he'll let this go deep right side. And this is going to wind up incomplete. The coverage there too strong on the deep ball, and now they face a 3rd down. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions.
Hatchet. Where you at? Who's that? Is that yours?
From the gun, here's Watson. And that is incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on 3rd down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a 4th down decision.
He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And this will pin him back deep. That's going to kick out of bounds right at about the 7-yard line. So well done there. And these punters, they get more specialized and better each and every year, don't they?
They sure do. And now it's really not the American punters. It's the Australian punters with their kicking academies and that flat drop and just kind of kicking the nose of the football. They're able to almost stop it where they want to, like a good golfer can check one up.
On 1st and 10, Rivers. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down. Rivers incomplete on 1st down. Here's 2nd and 10. To throw again. Rivers. And can you believe it? It's a 2nd safety in this ball game. And this defense continues to dominate. How about 2 safeties in one game here?
You don't even put that on your goal sheet. This is something that results when you're playing really well.
Johnson odds poke free. Football's out. And picked up by the Chargers. And they are going to score on the fumble return. Touchdown, L.A. The way this one was going, you just got the sense they needed something before half. They've at least got something on the board now. Still trailing, but a good sign.
That takes me back to our preseason tour of NFL camps. You remember we talked with that one coach who said his emphasis this year was scoring in the last 2 minutes of a half, heading into the locker room. This hits it right there. Take that momentum, take that good feeling, and take it to the locker room, regroup, and start over. They got it here.
They did indeed. A lot of football, full half to be played. And not a bad return. Here he gets it out to the 25-yard line. DeAndre Hopkins and the rest of the offense heading back onto the field. He hasn't had his usual star-studded performance so far, but still the second quarter, and they're still up on the scoreboard.
And sometimes even as a decoy, you can have a big impact on the game, and that's what we've seen thus far. They're still able to get it done. They found other ways. They haven't had to utilize him as a top priority just yet, but you know he's waiting and available.
Yeah, now the question is, how will they utilize him here? On 2nd and 10, Watson. He's got Fuller. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. And offensively, they'll take the timeout with 6 seconds left in the second quarter. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
Check. He's crashing. He's checking. Check. Lucky.
The final shot before the break. Watson being chased out left. Now he'll let it go deep down the left sideline. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on 1st down, but he couldn't reel it in. The second half upon us sooner than we bargained for. Week 7, second half. Let's do it. This is taken at his 4.
Let's go, buddy.
So here are the Texans to take over. They're on a 3-game winning streak, and right now looking good in this one as well. Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10 at their own 26.
Here we go again. Switch. Check 24.
A shotgun snap for Watson, eluding the pressure right. Under pressure now, Watson, and down he goes. The former 3rd-round pick, Justin Jones, bringing the lumber that time.
Well, partner, we know they came out of the locker room down on the scoreboard, but I will guarantee you the defensive side of the ball got super emotional. They can come out and play with aggressiveness, with fury, because they don't have to be quite as precise, and it paid off for them on that play, didn't it?
Sure did. Excellent play, really setting the tone for this 3rd quarter. To try again after the sack. Watson forced out to his left. Now he's going to let it go deep left side. And that'll be incomplete. Good protection that time, and they couldn't hook up on the long one. Now it's 3rd down. Throwing on 3rd and long. Watson dancing to his left. Now he's going to throw deep. He's got a man. Complete. And they finally get him down, but not before he reaches the 34. A huge play there for Houston. 52 yards.
Check the backer.
On 1st and 10, Watson escaping the pressure right. And Thomas has it. And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. They get 14 on that one. Good for a Houston 1st down. Watson looks to throw again. That's caught. It's Thomas. And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. Jordan Thomas, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Texans push further out in front. Fairbairn good with the extra point. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Now we'll look at the Chargers offense. They get ready for their first possession of the second half. And their halftime hole now even deeper, and they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger. But no.
And now nothing but green ahead of him. And all the way in for a Charger touchdown. Austin Eckler, his 3rd touchdown now on the year, as his guys are back within a single score. Not a whole lot to recap on that drive. Just one play, 75 yards to the house.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. And remember, rarely is it a straight line 75 yards, too. Got to have a little extra in there. So whatever the final number is, a well-deserved seat on the bench, a little oxygen if he wants it as well.
This fielded at the 2. Shifts by him. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Now a first down throw. Watson steps away to his left. Now he's going to let it go deep, back over the middle. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's second down. Back to the air. Watson on second down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Well, it was second long. Now it's third and even longer. They're going in the wrong direction here.
Because they're moving exactly the way they want to, but you're exactly right. Definitely going in the wrong direction for the offensive guys.
Now a deep ball here, hauled in just past the 50. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. To give him a gain of 37. So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up first and 10. Out of the gun, Watson. Buying time to his left. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
You see me? You see me? They can't stop me.
I know there would be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and ended up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make. You feel like you've got momentum on your side.
Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going. Work to be done here on 2nd and 16 after the sack. Watson. Flush to his right. On the run. He'll let this go. It's caught at the 10. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. Kiki QT. His second touchdown of the game. His third on the year. And the Texans push further out in front. Extra point by Fairbairn. Up and good. But Deshaun Watson, he's a lot of fun to watch in the pocket, but when he's forced out of the pocket like that, he can make those big plays downfield.
Almost a bad thing when you're pass rushing and you force a Deshaun Watson out of the pocket. He creates extra time. He has the poise to keep his eyes downfield and locate receivers, and it turns into a little bit of a scramble drill for the defensive backs. Where is everyone? And Deshaun Watson finds his target for a big, big play.
So Rivers will lead the Chargers up first and 10 at their 25-yard line. They'll start out here with a jet sweep. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
Defenses always talk about earning the right to rush the passer on third down. And you know what offenses want? Win first down so they can set things up for themselves better.
And that wasn't helpful there. Not a big impact on first down. Rivers hands off to Eckler. And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. He continues to be effective running the football, a big reason that they have the lead.
And I love one of the quotes that I read about him where he said of himself, I love it when a team just hops on my back and I just carry them along.
Rivers will get this one to Williams. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. It's a gain of 11 and a first down L.A.
White, 85.
49-yard line.
First down, Rivers, and caught by Henry. That throw good for 4. It's second down. 4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6.
Second and 6 at the 45.
They'll run out of the gun with Eckler. And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. It's a loss of 2, now third down. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down.
You better be afraid of me.
From the gun, Rivers. And they're going to get him. He's taken down for a sack back at the 47-yard line. Zach Cunningham in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one. Let's go old school there. That's absolutely a great coffin corner punt. Someone's put some time in working on that, hasn't he?
Seems like every year these guys get better and better. It's amazing how they can command that football through the air.
Yeah, they used to actually practice with hula hoops where they place them and try and put them there. Now a lot of guys use barrels on the sidelines to try and put the football in one.
Flushed out right. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. The Pro Bowler DeAndre Hopkins, the intended receiver, but it'll be second down. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
49's the mic. 49's the mic. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check.
Watson throwing again, eluding the pressure right. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. DeAndre Hopkins once again the intended target, and it's third down. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10.
Check, check. You can't block me. You can't block me. Check, check.
Here's Watson, operating from the gun, escaping the press. And got his man, complete. 20, 10, touchdown, Houston. Deshaun Watson, 4 touchdown passes now in the ball game, and the Texans push further out in front. As he was shuffling right out of the pocket, you could just tell he was going to take a shot downfield. He had his eyes down there the whole way.
He certainly did. He wasn't taking off to go, right? When he was flush from the pocket, a lot of times you see him, eyes will drop, ball will get tucked, and he takes off, becomes a running back. But as you noted, stayed alive as a passer, tremendous body control, and a pretty good arm there, too.
So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. Rivers to throw it. It's complete to Williams. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. 18 big yards on that one, and a Charger first. Running on first down, Eckler. And they'll get to him after a gain of 7 to the 47.
Step where you belong. 180. 180.
We have played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
390. Big series right here. We got to step it up.
Throwing on 2nd and 3. Rivers. Benjamin's got it. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. 6 yards to pick up, and that's a first down. So a 1st and 10 now in Houston territory at the 47. Rivers throws complete to Benjamin. And he coughed it up. And the Texans scoop it. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
You'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. Now it's Lindsey, and a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
Let's go, D. Tighten up. Let's go, D. Tighten up. 44 is the mic. 44 is the mic. Check, check. Quit talking about it and bring it.
And the play clock is going to run out here. They're in no hurry to get a play off. So that'll back them up 5. So the delay of game penalty moves it back 5. That makes it 2nd and 10.
Watch the slam. 2-4. 4-4 is the mic. Mike's 4-4. Hey, come on out here. Come get some. Come get some.
Now Watson from the gun. He'll throw. Being chased out left. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's 3rd down. The Texans on third down. 3 for 7 so far in this game. This is 3rd and 10.
44's Mike. 44's Mike. Check. I got it.
From the gun, Watson. He finds his target, Fuller. That one good for 24 yards. They have the nice cushion. They just want to pour it on right now, still throwing the football.
And I know my background says, why do you need to do this? Just go ahead and run out the clock and get a win. But as many people pointed out to me, it's a video game, man. Go ahead and put the numbers up. Sportsmanship, not an issue.
Exercise those fingers. 2 chunk plays in a row. The last one was over 20 yards, and so is this one. From the red zone now, Watson. He'll be hit and taken down at the 21. Joey Bosa make that now 8 sacks for him on the season. Got to assume this defense will be charging again here. It's 2nd and 15. Back to throw, Watson. And he slings one that's incomplete.
One thing I have learned, receivers don't mind high throws so much to the sideline, but do that over the middle to them, and not only the DB's going to throw a little verbal trash their way, when they get back to the hump,
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Joey Bosa in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him. He's looking for another 4-sack game. That's how many he had last week. That's his 3rd.
And when I watch him rush the passer, the thing that always comes to mind for me is how well he uses his hands. The martial arts stuff that a lot of guys do in the offseason to work on those, paying dividends for him. He's getting home in a big way.
So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
Here we go.
Here's a Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession. And last time the turnover on the fumble, and they were in enemy territory, so that had to be very frustrating. Down on the scoreboard here, can't do it again.
You nailed every part of what was frustrating. Down on the scoreboard, had a drive going, and put
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Zach Cunningham has now recorded 10 sacks on the season.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. And he'll take this up only to about his 18-yard line. Only 2 yards on the pickup there, and now they're looking at a long 3rd down. 3rd and long for Rivers. Completes it to Benjamin. And this will not get close to the 1st down marker as he's brought down at the 26. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down. Their already slim hopes are going to ride on this one. They'll go on 4th down. The Chargers go here. It's Rivers. And this is incomplete. The 4th down play doesn't work for the Chargers. And the Texans take over an excellent field position. Well, at this stage of the game in the second half, down 3 scores, I guess they felt like they needed to push.
And let's face it, with this deficit, if they give up another score here after they didn't get it, does it really matter?
Right.
It really doesn't. They had to go and try and make something happen if they had any chance of winning this game.
They'll go again with Lindsey. And a good run as he manages 7 yards down to the 17. And he'll be close to a 1st down at the Chargers 17. The Texans on 3rd down. Not quite 50%, 4 for 9. This time they face a 3rd and 2. They'll try and run for it with Lindsey. It's a gain of 4 there and gives them a new set of downs. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Here's Lindsey. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8. Here's a give to Lindsey running right. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. It'll wind up being a loss of 2, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. On 3rd down, Lindsey. And they're going to drop him well shy of the 1st as he can only make it to the 11. 2 yards on the pickup there. It's 4th down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. So Houston going to come away here with the victory. And they were buoyed, Charles, by a big second half that put this one on ice.
So you get the sense that whatever was said at halftime obviously hit home. I think it's a little bit more than that, though. Obviously, there are words that are said, and, hey, come on, guys, we have to play better. But sometimes it's just sharpening your execution, sharpening your focus, and maybe doing the things you practiced all week without major adjustments, just doing them better. And that got it done in this one.
So for Houston, the win moves them up to 5-2 now on the year. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Meanwhile, for the home team here, the loss here will move them back to 500 at 3-3. And they'll try to get back on the beam next week as they'll head to Tampa to take on the Bucs. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports.